into the second episode of Live from ALA Midwinter 2014. I'm Candice Mack, and I'm a member of the YALSA board, and I'm also running for YALSA president 2015 in the elections that opened in March. And I have two wonderful guests with me, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Do you want to start?
My name is Nicola McDonald. I'm a young adult librarian at the Brooklyn Public Library and the 2014 to 2015 YALSA Board Fellow.
Woohoo!
Yeah! And I'm Scott Robbins. I'm a children's librarian up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And yeah.
What committee?
And I'm on the, I was on the 2000, thank you. I was on the 2014, I haven't heard teen nonfiction for teens award committee.
Woohoo! And actually, I forgot to mention that I work in the Los Angeles Public Library during my day, so. Okay, so yes, it's been an exciting weekend. So, did you talk a little bit about why you're here conference?
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I'm here because I love the experience that I get to, have professional development. Like one program I attended yesterday was the Llama Leadership Development program, and I got a lot of takeaways from that. Aside from that, I get to meet a lot of wonderful people from all over the U.S., around the world, a lot of different professional librarians, and working in various fields, whether it's cataloging or just getting to meet people, talk to them about different things that are going on, and learn a lot of new things.
Great.
So I'm here because for the main reason was to select the winner of the 2014 Nonfiction for Teens Award. So that was very exciting. I had a chance to attend the Youth Media Award, or the Youth Media Awards for the first time ever. So that was it. Like, it's the Kidlets Oscars, so which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, it's always great to come to ALA to get re-energized, to get inspired, and to remind you that the work you're doing, it really affects people. It's also great to sort of surround yourself with the like-minded librarians and just sort of feed off of their passion, which is always one of my favorite things about ALA. This is my first ALA Midwinter as a librarian. I actually used to work in publishing for 8 years, and so it's really great to be on the other side of the booth. So now I get to take all the goodies instead of having to hand them out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you get a real feel of the various committees by talking to different people, and to just know what you would like to participate in the future. So that's another great experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Midwinter is really great because I think it has such a different focus, in a sense, from annual. So they're both wonderful conferences to attend, I think, because they tend to be so different. And in fact, I did hear, I don't know if I should be spreading rumors or not, but that there is an ALA Council resolution that was going to be presented in time. Currently, programs are not allowed to be held in ALA Midwinter. It's supposed to all be committee work or just be committee work, basically. So they're sort of discussing whether or not to change it so that programs can be allowed. Because for some really challenging for them to come conference when there's a program.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that, but that's really exciting. YALSA is having programs in the YALSA meetings, but of course Youth Media Awards were so and before that actually trying to commit myself to year and it's been between the MLK Center and YMAs, it's just like, you know, so yeah, there's a lot of coffee.
Yes. Can you see him?
So, Scott, would you say, like, is this the first selection committee that you've been on?
This is the first selection committee that I've been involved with ALA. I've been involved with some different committees up.
Then I realized this is not touch screen. Okay. Hello.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. You're good.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
Sorry for technical difficulties. And thanks for tuning in. So we were just talking to Scott about his experience on this YALSA selection committee.
Right. So I was saying that this is my first committee that I've been on with ALA, but I've done some selection committee work up in Canada. So this is my first time.
Yay.
Yeah. And it was an amazing experience. I had a fantastic committee. They were all so friendly and so respectful and so beautifully critical of all of the books. And we had some amazing discussions. And I'd like to thank Jameson Hedden for chairing the committee. She was just such a delightful, wonderful, organized, meticulous person. And I don't think that it would have run as smoothly without her. So just wanted to give a shout out.
Woo!
Yeah.
Are you going on to another selection committee?
Not next year, but I would like to in the future, just because my experience was so wonderful and so rewarding. But I'm taking a year off because I'm hopefully going to write another book. So yes, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off. But yeah, I definitely want to get involved with some more committee work through ALA and through YALSA.
Yeah, committee work is very great. I feel the same way about popular paperbacks, which I'm just ending a term on. And a great thing about popular paperbacks is that you get to choose themes that you work in. So this year our theme were conflicted, which is war-related books. We had humor and we had GLBTQ. And I got to read so many books that I normally would probably not have just picked up on my own. Mm-hmm. So you get to bond with books, but also some really great people, you know, from various backgrounds and just different library systems. So yeah, it's really great working on committees.
I learned so much about American history through this committee that I had no idea before. So now I know all about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I know about Lincoln. I know about the Emancipation Proclamation. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think it's so important, you know, so thank you for your guys' service on these committees, because I know there's a lot of library staff who depend on, you know, that excellent vetted information on those lists to do their collection development.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sort of, with all the tweeting and everything going on this morning from the YMAs, I'm guessing that there are lots of books that suddenly have way more holes on them at, you know, local libraries than they had before, or at least, you know, orders on Amazon, like the whole thing.
And they're well-deserving.
Yes, yes. It's good. I think it's so fabulous that we, you know, you don't have to worry about the trustworthiness of, you know, the list. I mean, of course, you're going to go through them and see how they fit with the community you work with, but at least that part, you know, you don't have to worry about, because, you know, your colleagues did an awesome job.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think when I was on Great Graphic Novels for Teens, it was one of the best experiences I've had as a librarian. It was really amazing. So
I would like to be on that committee one of these days. Yeah. I think that'd be super fun.
Mm-hmm. It's the best committee ever. No bias. I was past chair, so I'm totally biased. But anyways. What other things, is there anything else that, I know this is sort of the last day for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess, what are some things that you are going to take, do you think you might take back to your libraries and your communities?
Well, one of my main thing is that I didn't really get to look through the reports of the YALSA future of YA services yet, but yesterday I came in like at the end of the discussion, and there were some really nice things mentioned and discussed, and that's something I'm looking forward to reading the report more and seeing, you know, what I could really take back and use in my day-to-day services to teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm really just bringing back sort of a renewed sort of enthusiasm. Like, I love what I do. I love being a librarian, but you know, when I come back from ALA, I always feel really great about the work that I do, and I think that kind of enthusiasm is really important, and it's infectious. So I'm bringing back enthusiasm. I'm also bringing back, you know, a little bit of honor that a Canadian is on, you know, an ALA award committee as prestigious as the Nonfiction Award for Teens. So I'm really honored to be a part of it as a Canadian. So thank you.
That's wonderful. I actually spoke to Betsy Fraser yesterday. She's one of the members of the Morris Committee, and she was just talking about how she wants to get more of your guys' countrymen to join the association. So that would be like really wonderful, because you guys have so much talent. Library staff as well. So.
I feel like there's about a half a dozen of us that are just, people are, oh, it's those Canadians again, and it's always like 6 of us that are at ALA. It's like me, Betsy Fraser, you know, Ken Setterington back in the day, and so yeah. But we know, I actually have a friend who's coming, who's a colleague of mine, who's coming on to Popular Paperbacks next year. Her name's Adele Lamphere. She's a fabulous branch head up in Toronto, and she has a real focus on teen services. So look for her.
Yeah, and actually, Chris, who isn't a librarian, Chris Butcher, he was on the show on Saturday, actually, sort of talking a little bit about TCAF, the Toronto Comics Arts Festival, and his work with Udon Entertainment.
Right.
So,
and Chris Butcher and I are really close friends. So.
yeah.
Yeah, we all, as much as you don't think every Canadian does know each other.
Maybe I'll ask you later if you know my cousins.
Okay.
They're not librarians. So. They're not in the library world. But yeah, well, thank you for. Was there any other things you guys wanted to add to try and encourage people to come because it's such a wonderful conference? I know that's a question.
Well, like I said, I would just say to all the Canadians out there, get involved. You know, you will. It's very rewarding. You will feel, like I said, a renewed passion for the work that you do. So, you know, Canadians definitely need more representation in ALA. So definitely do it.
Yeah, and in general, I do want to support that, you know, renewed energy, because you do get that renewal, you know, and it's something that's great, because when you go back, you know, you feel that energy, and like you said, it's contagious.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's a spread to your fellow colleagues, and to get involved in new things, or, you know, just rev up the old ones.
Right. Sometimes we need some revving.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, yeah, like not only bringing back the new ideas that you learn here at Midwinter, but if you know, which I'm sure so many of you are doing awesome things at your libraries, you know, it's a chance to actually come and sort of show off, you know, those innovations that have worked so well for your community, you know, because other people, I'm sure, are waiting to hear about them so that they can try and implement them in their systems, in their libraries, and in their communities too. So, you know, it's definitely not a one-way street, you know, in terms of information. You know, with so many things happening with libraries in terms of fighting the good fight, fighting budget cuts and things like that. You know, I think the more information and knowledge that we share, you know, the stronger we are. I think someone mentioned that, well, I know for YALSA we currently have about 5,100 members, but someone mentioned, gosh, I think it was, someone mentioned how many members there are of ALA, although, of course, now I'm blanking on what number that they said, but I know that it was huge. It was like tens of thousands or something. So just the idea of, you know, having so many colleagues in spirit, even if they're not here at conference, like, and that those are just our members. Like, that's not even all of the, you know, folks that are working in libraries in general. Like, it's just sort of amazing. So.
Right.
Yay! We have another guest too.
Yay!
Joining us. So
I hope to see some of you at Annual, and maybe next year Midwinter.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So.
Hi.
Hello.
This side.
Doesn't matter.
Hello there.
Thank you, guys. Have a safe trip back. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
Hi, I'm Candace.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I love your
too.
hair.
Thank you. I love your shirt.
Thanks.
Woohoo! So, did you want to do a brief introduction?
Yeah, my name's Kyle Monson. I work with the Google Creative Lab, and for the past 2 summers, we've run a program called Maker Camp in partnership with Make Magazine out in California.
Awesome. So what all does Maker Camp involve?
So it's 30 days of free programming. We're trying to teach kids, we're basically trying to trick kids into learning about science and technology on their summer vacation. 30 days of free programming where we post a new project every morning, and kids can build along at home, they can build at their local library, they can build at their robotics club, or wherever they happen to be, wherever there's a group of makers. But it's really fun. We post like introduction to soldering, intro to 3D printing, robotics, basic coding and programming, arts and crafts, kind of all kinds of different projects for ages, I mean, officially ages 13 to 18, but it can get a lot younger than that. 8-year-olds we've seen have a lot of fun with the program.
And what's the website address for how people would access?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking.
MakerCamp.
Makercamp.com. We started a program last summer where libraries could sign up to be affiliate sites. And if you sign up, we did 100 last summer. We're trying to get to 500 this summer. And if you sign up, we will send you a box of free materials.
Oh, wonderful.
So last summer we sent like a beginning soldering kit, a makey, which turns, you can make like banana pianos and weird things, basic electronic circuitry. We sent out Arduino pack, Raspberry Pi, and then just a big pile of t-shirts for the kids.
Oh, awesome.
So it's a really nice way to get libraries involved and kind of transition into maker spaces. A free way to kind of test the waters before you have to invest a ton of money into this this idea. And we're really excited about the idea of libraries becoming or continuing their evolution as a center of learning for the community. Teaching kids how to build, getting them involved in science and technology on their summer vacation seems like a really easy way to do that.
So if librarians are interested in doing this during the summer, would they just go to
makercamp.com. Yeah, we'll have a little form. It's live now. You can sign up to be an affiliate, and we will start sending information over the next couple months of ideas for programming. If you want to do a weekly hangout session on Google+, and then build along with us in weekly sessions, you can. In daily sessions, you can. You can kind of do whatever. It's built to be tailor-made for your program. You can kind of customize it however you like.
Are the projects from the previous years, are they still up on the website?
Yeah, they're all available. So we have, I think, about 75 projects you can start building.
That's fantastic.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a really great website. And since the older projects are on there too, if you haven't started doing them, then you can take a look at those to see all the materials and things you might need if you want to kind of do some of the new ones that they're presenting this year, as well as do some of the ones that were sort of presented in previous years.
Exactly. And we're going to start the official camp, I think, on July 14th this year, 14th or 17th. I should know that. But if you wanted to start in June, you could go back to our past projects. They're all designed to be fairly approachable for makers of all different levels. It doesn't take a lot of expertise on the librarian side. And, we try and make them as costs as non-prohibitive as possible. It's all meant to be fairly affordable.
So why are you here at conference?
I'm just here to tell as many librarians as I can about MakerCamp and get them signed up.
Is this your first year at ALA Midwinter?
It is, yeah.
So, sorry, I'm just going to move the chair a little bit. So how has your experience been so far?
It's been great. I've been upstairs teaching librarians how to make these little buttons with the blinky lights. You got one?
I do, right here.
Did your battery die?
Oh, it's in here. I just didn't put it in. I was trying to save the battery because I love my little robot so much.
So we're teaching basic soldering upstairs. And soldering is kind of the perfect way to get involved because it's not actually that dangerous, but it's dangerous enough that kids get that rush of adrenaline from holding a hot thing that melts metal. So it's a nice little easy way to get into the DIY space.
I think it's incredibly empowering too. Like I couldn't believe how awesome I felt the first time I actually soldered one of these LED lights onto something and actually successfully made it blink. It's only not blinking right now because, like I said, I took the battery out of it.
And it has a lot of uses. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my first soldering project was my little connection on my bass guitar broke, and I had to go into it, and I had an adult help me. But it was a really easy soldering project, but just fixing that one little thing and knowing that I could do that was hugely empowering, like you said, where you realize that the things around your house are hackable and openable and fixable.
Right, that they don't work just through some crazy magic.
Yeah.
Like they work because somebody or a machine actually, made those connections, connected them to an energy source, and that actually, if you just sort of practice enough and learn more about how those things are interconnected, that you can do it too.
Yeah, and to the extent that it is magic, we should be the magicians.
Exactly. And I'm from Los Angeles Public Library, and actually last year or the year before, I can't remember exactly, we actually hosted a 2-part soldering 101 workshop.
Cool. How did the kids like it?
They loved it. Well, the person who taught it was actually actually an 11-year-old.
Really?
And her father,
That's great.
and there was like a whole safety thing that we did.
So what ages did you have involved?
In terms of the students
I'm interviewing you now, by the way.
involved, they ranged from, I want to say 14 to 17. Yeah. And she kind of came up with we sort of worked together in terms of we didn't do like one of these kits. We kind of Spark Fund had actually come out and did a presentation to a lot of the librarians at in our system, because we heard they were going sort of on tour, their education department, and so we asked them to stop at Los Angeles Public Library. So they did an overview of Arduino, and they donated a bunch of their innovators kits and also soldering irons.
That's
and
great.
So that's what we used. And then my husband, who is not a librarian, but I call him an honorary librarian because he has.
Can I be is that?
I know, but yeah, a library advocate. Anyways, he designed he designed a board so that and pre-programmed it, so then the teams just had to solder the LEDs and things like that.
It's a great way to get involved, and having kids teach the lessons. When we do our beginning robotics courses for Maker Camp, you can have your local high school robotics club come in and teach the younger kids how to use Arduino, how to do some basic programming. Even Lego Mindstorms are a great way to get into that.
Yeah, and that kind of ties back to this report that one of the guests who just left, Nicola, she mentioned, which YALSA just put out, the Young Adult Library Services Association. They just put out this report called The Future of Teens and Libraries, and one of the things in there is sort of harnessing that energy of teens to learn new things that will, be really important to them in terms of career building and things like that. But not only that, but emphasizing that librarians don't have to be the expert at everything, so making use of things like Maker Camp or finding other experts in the community to teach the class. Because actually I was going to teach the class, but when I met Coco, the 11-year-old, who is now 12, and learned about her enthusiasm for soldering, and I was like, if she was interested, this would be a great opportunity for her to learn how to teach a class, and for the students to learn how to solder. So.
Yeah, we try and bake that into Maker Camp too. I mean, every day we post a project and we get Maker mentors involved, who we try and get kids, if we can find them, kids to help. They conduct a hangout session on Google+, like a video chat session where they're swapping tips and sharing advice and kind of showing a little bit of how-to. And then every Friday we go on a virtual field trip via Hangout to these amazing places that kids might not normally get to see. Last year we went to NASA, the White House, Pixar, all kinds of crazy places. The first year we went to Disney Imagineering, and the Imagineers showed us how they build roller coasters and how physics and DIY plays a role in their roller coaster designs and things like that. So it's a really great program. We do the field trips every Friday. We do regular programming the rest of the week where we're building things together. It's a lot of fun and it's totally free.
So do people, like in terms of when you're doing the tour, do people just sort of log into the stream and then, kind of what people are doing now?
It's like this, yeah. We have a live stream on YouTube, or you can watch it on Google+. Officially, the program is for 13 to 18-year-olds because those are the ages you can't get a Google+ account if you're younger than 13. But if you're going through a library or through your parents or through an older sibling, we've had kids as young as 7 and 8 participate.
Oh, wow.
And so the projects are designed to be able to be done by all ages.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like at the workshop that we did, the Soldering 101 one, so we had about 12 students, and I'm proud to say, although biased to say, that the majority of the students were actually girls. And they,
awesome.
And during the second session, they ended up sort of teaching some of the guys how to finish the project. So it was really fantastic because none of them, I think there were only 2 participants, Coco, and one of the students who had actually ever soldered before. And like I said, by the second session, they're like, "Well, let me show you how to do it."
Yeah.
Like this is, I was like, "This is so awesome."
Yeah, more than half of our mentors last year were female. We have a big push to get girls involved in STEM. Google-wide, it's a big priority for Google, obviously, but also for Maker Camp.
That's so wonderful.
Yep.
Well, how many members of the team are there who are working on this project to push this out?
It's a pretty big team. We've got producers and video folks and writers and makers of all kinds. We had, I think, over 120 makers last year participate in Hangouts and help teach kids how to do stuff.
That's so great.
We have about 1.5 million campers following the program on Google+, which is amazing.
Yeah, and then and when did you guys start coming to conference to spread the word of
Well, Make Magazine's been coming, I think, for a long time. They've got a really good relationship with the librarian community. So I think they've been coming for a long time. This is my first time at something like this, but it's been great to see. I love seeing and hearing that librarians and libraries are investing in things like 3D printing and small maker spaces and things like that. It's great to see.
Yeah, our library, our central library, it's actually, it's tentatively approved in our budget. On our side, it still needs to be approved by our city council and things like that to have a maker space.
But I think Maker Camp gives a really nice theme that you can take to your mayor or your local newspaper editor to say, by the way, Google and Make Magazine sent a kit to our community to help us establish this space, and we're doing weekly programming through Maker Camp, and it kind of gives a nice little story that you can talk to the community about. And we have some other tricks too, like if you have a 3D printer, we posted a project last year on how to 3D print your head. You can basically take 15 or 16 pictures with your iPhone, load them into CAD software, and print a statue of your head. Send one of those to the newspaper editor. Make one of your newspaper editor or your mayor, and they will love Maker Camp forever. And they'll be big supporters of the library because you gave them this little statue for their desk.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for that advocacy.
Yeah.
Because we're always looking
little
for
PR
more.
tip.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And thank you to, for Google and, Google's enthusiasm and Make Magazine's enthusiasm for, kind of collaborating with libraries to get the word out about,
Absolutely.
Kind of helping, really students of all ages learn, how to get more STEM into their lives,
Totally.
STEM or
STEM
STEAM into their lives.
Yeah. More blinky LED robots in your life.
Definitely.
You don't have enough.
Never enough blinkies.
Yep.
So cool. Are you guys planning to come to annual? And what sort of project?
Sure. That was in Austin last year, right?
Last year annual was in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. Okay. Where's it this year?
Sorry. This year it's in Vegas.
In Vegas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I want to come to that.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, it's Vegas.
Yeah, I'm on board for that.
That's awesome.
With all the distractions of Vegas, I'm definitely going to the library conference when I'm there.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is going to happen, at a lot of the spaces. I think a lot of the hotels that things are going to be happening at are on the Strip and everything.
How many folks show up for that? For
annual?
Yeah.
Wow, in terms of the numbers, it varies in terms of attendance. So, 20,000?
At least.
What?
20,000?
Okay, sorry. The ALA office says that at least 20,000 people show up for conference every year. So
Yes.
This is weird because I know I'm kind of yelling questions from
the studio audience.
Yeah, from the studio audience. But how many members do we have? This is the awesome Tina.
Hi. I'm Tina from ALA membership.
Yeah. So how many members do we have?
Over 57,000. I don't have an exact
No, that's
number,
okay.
but
Because I remember someone had mentioned, and I knew that it was like tens of thousands of members, but I just couldn't remember how many tens of thousands.
Yes,
So,
we are the largest and the oldest library association in the world.
in the
We're
world.
older than the IRS.
We are older than the IRS.
Really?
Yes.
Something to brag about. Write that on your taxes.
We are older than you. ALA is older than you. So, yeah.
Any other ALA questions I might be able to answer?
I don't know, do you have any other ALA questions?
Yeah.
Especially since this is your first time at
It's
Concept.
my first time, yeah. And it's been really fun talking to all the librarians on the show floor and see how
They are kind of awesome.
they're really excited about building maker spaces and teaching DIY skills and things like that.
Even the
It's
ones
really
that
interesting.
don't do maker stuff.
Well, we'll
are
teach
still
them how to
really
do maker
excited.
stuff, and then they
Exactly.
can transmit that info to the kids.
Yes.
And in terms of also, that's what we've been trying to encourage, like, people to not be panicked about the fact, you know, that they don't know how to do all of the maker stuff necessarily, because really it doesn't matter. We just need to
Learning with the
know,
kids is just as fun.
yeah, learning with them or finding other mentors to showcase,
Mhm.
you know, those type of skills. So
Tapping into the local maker communities, I think, is an interesting thing that libraries can and already are doing too. Like getting the expertise of the people that are already doing it in their community, and plus it brings more people into their own library,
Yeah.
which I think is awesome. It's an
Yeah.
awesome chance for them to really get involved in what
Right.
their library is doing.
to learn how libraries are evolving.
Mhm.
You know, because I'm not sure that word is getting out enough,
Mhm.
or if, you know, so the more that people in the community know that all these exciting things are possible at the library, I think the better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you guys.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for
all
having me
that
on your
you
show.
do
Yes.
to-
Go to makercamp.com, sign up
Yeah.
to be an affiliate, and I will send you a box of t-shirts and some maker support.
Woo!
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kyle.
Have a good rest of your conference and safe trip back. So,
When you're done, we're done.
all right. Well, I think that's the end of today's show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to the last episode. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Until annual, we're trying to get Candace to come back.
I hope that
If you
they
know
can.
Candace, tell her to do it at annual.
I'm certainly going to try. It's been awesome. And, you know, I'm looking forward to even more awesome guests. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens. I have my fingers crossed, too. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.